moved to Japan more than 25 years ago, I actually didn't know much about the culture and I didn't know any of the language yet. I started from zero. One of the first things that I fell in love with was the festival culture. Japanese festivals, or Matsuri, are incredibly colorful, vibrant, and just diverse in the variety of festivals that exist all over the country. Festivals, or Matsuri, are intended to amuse the gods and bring about positive results, whether that is a good harvest, freedom from sickness or disasters, things like that. But they also serve as social gel, bringing communities together and providing people a relief from the agricultural, farm work that was their daily life in a lot of villages, well, most villages throughout the country. The Namahage of the Oga Peninsula in Akita have fascinated me since decades ago. These red and blue ogres, demons, whatever you like to call them, have their origin in a story of preventing, or rather punishing, people for being lazy. Perhaps you've heard of the kotatsu, a Japanese table that's got a heater underneath it with a blanket so that you can sit in there and be warm even if the room is cold. Now, these are famous in modern Japan for basically making you worthless. Once you sit in one of these, you don't want to leave. They're so comfortable, and you end up just taking a nap, even if you're not someone who takes a nap. Nowadays, of course, these kotatsu are electric. But back in the day, they actually had a little open hearth underneath the table and the blanket where coals would be keeping it warm. Occasionally, little sparks would go up from these coals and burn the person's leg who is sitting under there. Now, these Namahage are always depicted with this big knife, almost like a butcher's knife, and it's said that they used it to cut off these burn marks of the people who were lazy, sitting inside their kotatsu all the time. So it was a punishment for these lazy people. You might see these Namahage all over Japan, but they are originally from Akita, from this Oga Peninsula, is their homeland. And there is a tradition there that goes back centuries where locals dress up as these Namahage and go door to door on New Year's Eve, demanding to see if there are any lazy children in that household. In this tradition, the children would often hear the knocking, know that it was the Namahage coming, and flee and hide in the closet, while the parents defended them, saying, no, we have no lazy children here. Our child's a good person. And they would invite the Namahage in and serve them food and alcohol. At least that's how I heard it described to me. So I've been intrigued by this festival since I first heard of it, but it's such a local thing in a tiny little village in a remote area of northwestern Akita. I never thought that I would actually have the opportunity to witness it, much less participate in it. A lot of festivals these days are tourist attractions, mostly for Japanese, but there'll be more people watching with cameras than people participating. However, there still are some local neighborhood festivals just observed in the local communities in much the same way as they were originally intended. This Namahage festival is one of them. So this last year, when I received an invitation to come to the Oga Peninsula in Akita, participate, to actually dress up and become one of these Namahage and terrify children, how could I resist? Here's what the festival looked like. On New Year's Eve, we met the local team of guys doing it in a community center where we got the costumes out and discussed the plan. First, we visit a local shrine. There are a number of stages this festival. Take a look. Though this was an incredible experience, I have some regrets. Let me share with you the things that I could have or should have done better and that I will do better next year. First, the boots that I chose were kind of difficult. And so you're supposed to seamlessly go into people's houses, just slip off your boots and run in, scaring the children. But I had to struggle with every house that I went into, taking an extra 30 seconds or so to pull my boots off, and then the same thing when I left the house, putting them on again. I was told afterwards that I really should just wear loose-fitting, big rubber boots to avoid this, and I will. The other thing is that I was nervous. I didn't know these guys. I wasn't sure about the right way to do it, the right amount of energy to put into the experience. And so you do it in pairs. There's always 2 Namahage, and you take turns, changing the costume, and then another pair will do it. So you go to a dozen houses or however many, and then you switch. And I wasn't sure, this just how boisterous to be about it. I didn't want to be rude. I didn't want to be like the dumb foreigner, basically. I learned later that I should have been a lot more wild and crazy with it, and then I was a little bit too subdued. In my defense, I was mirroring the guy with me who was also the most subdued of the Japanese guys who did it. Well, live and learn. Next time I'll know. And then the third thing is I didn't plan to spend the night, and I drove there, meaning of course I had to drive back. And so I couldn't drink any of the alcohol, any of this Japanese sake offered to me. And a lot was offered to me. Every single house you go into, they're offering you Japanese sake. And I love Japanese sake, but of course in Japan, you cannot have any alcohol at all and still drive. And I think it's one strike you're out. You have any alcohol once, your driver's license gone. It's not like where I'm from, Wisconsin, you can actually legally drive even when you're kind of tipsy at, 0.08 or something, blood alcohol. Anyway, I was told that originally you basically drink whenever sake is offered to you, and you do it until you can't walk anymore. And so the original way it was is it's only young single guys who take the part of the Namahage. Now there's not enough young single guys in the community, so it's mostly older people, though there's still some younger guys too. But you're supposed to be getting progressively drunker and drunker and more wild and boisterous from your drunkenness as you go on until you get too drunk, and then, costume swaps to the next guy, and the process repeats. Maybe this isn't the healthiest binge drinking way to spend your New Year's Eve, but it's not like you're doing it all the time. It's once a year. And so next year, I'm going to get a room so that I don't have to drive back. And I will torture my liver and do it the way that it was intended. And I'll be a little bit more fierce then. I don't know, it's something like that. So while this was a dream realized, I afterwards couldn't help but feeling a little bit like I could have done a better job. So next year, have you ever seen a Japanese festival? Participate in one? What was your favorite? What did you like about it? What didn't you? I think that for a lot of people, the amount of waiting around that is entailed can make it hard, but it's really an intense, rewarding experience and a great way to sort of join in a Japanese community and have a great time with local people. And so I do recommend that if you get the chance, come while there's a festival, and that if you even have the opportunity to participate, that you definitely give it a try. Let me know in the comments what festival was your favorite, or if you've participated in one, what was hard about it? What things did you maybe fail or think you could have done better? And what was great? Okay, I'm getting cold. The wind is starting to blow. Time to go back down the mountain. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the trails.